of Science Lines. Hello, I am Lara. This is Theatre of Science. I'm actually trained to teach physics up to A-level, and I stream free live lessons into the internet. There are free optional printouts. I'll fuse your brain cells. I ask you questions. This isn't that though, is it? This is the Lego Storytime show where I research a thing that you wanted me to research, and we do an activity, and there's a story told with Lego at the end, and usually I wear a silly costume. Today though, I'm not wearing a silly costume. I'm wearing the most sensiblest costume that I could possibly find because you made me research witches. Do I even want to say the word out loud? And I'm just doing everything I can to persuade everybody that I'm absolutely not a witch. We'll talk more about Puritans in the Lego Story Show. I don't think they would have actually approved of this little bit of lace that I've got on my costume, but hopefully none of them are watching. Right, witches. I really was very nervous about researching this because I feel like nowadays when you say the word witch, you sort of think like, oh yeah, cool, spooky, cool dudes. But actually, if you know anything about history, you know that witches in history was just a word that people used to basically bully, torture and kill mainly women, but also some men as well. So what I've done is I've tried to go back to the beginning because that's what we like to do on Theatre of Science, isn't it? We like to make it so that when you're researching stuff that people normally tell kids, you can be like, oh yeah, that kind of fits together now because Lara told me about something that happened 800 years before that. So the furthest back that I went when I was researching witches, I've done a timeline and everything. They didn't get this on Facebook yesterday, but I've done it today because I thought it would help me to understand it a bit better. In about the 1220s, there's this group of Catholics that form called the Dominican Order, okay? The Dominican Order. Now, the Dominican Order, particular group of Catholics, so Christians, one of their big jobs is to combat something called heresy. So in those days, maybe now, I don't know, it doesn't come up so much now, but in those days, if you didn't sort of follow the Christian teachings, if you weren't a Christian, basically, then you were a heretic and you needed to be found and you needed to be punished. Now, to do this, the Dominican Order have something called the Inquisition. You might have heard jokes about the Spanish Inquisition. There's a lot of jokes because of a TV programme. First of all, it wasn't a Spanish Inquisition. They were in sort of France and Italy, but the Inquisition, they inquire about heretics. They find people who are heretics, who sort of don't follow their Christian beliefs, and they find out that they are heretics and they kind of punish them. It feels like the Inquisition gets sort of out of control. Well, it's a lot of people who believe in the same thing all sort of telling each other that what they're doing is fine. And it feels like this sort of escalates. So fairly quickly we get writing where it turns out that they say that torture is okay. Like it's okay to torture a heretic, to make them confess to being a heretic. And then a little bit later on they start saying like, oh yeah, so God will forgive you if you torture a heretic. Like that's okay, God has said that is fine. This is definitely not all Christians. It's a very sort of specific group of people. This guy, how are we saying his name? Heinrich Kramer. Heinrich Kramer joins the Inquisition around 1474. The Wikipedia page for Heinrich Kramer, in like the first few sentences, describes him as a psychopath. He's clearly he's a bit of a broken man, I feel. So he joins the Inquisition, and even the Inquisition are like, oh, dude, not sure about some of your ideas. He writes this book, which translates as The Hammer of Witches. I don't speak Latin. How are we going to say this? This book, Malleus Maleficarium. I was trying to look up what Maleficarium means. It's a female word. So I couldn't find like a really good source, a really trustworthy source. It doesn't exactly mean like bad woman, but there's something to do with women and badness in here. And it's a book about how to hunt down witches. So at some point, heretics, people who don't follow the Christian sort of belief system, and witches get a little bit mixed up. And this Heinrich guy is definitely one of the people who does this. So this is part of the bit that is in his book. Thank you, University of Oregon, for sort of translating this. I won't read the whole thing out, but it comes up in the book like, well, I mean, actually, nothing much has changed, friends. You know, all this stuff that you hear all these days about fake news and people lying and being very persuasive. It's all in here. As for the first question, why a greater number of witches is found in the fragile feminine sex than among men? Why are more witches women than men? He's asking. It is indeed a fact that they were idle to contradict, since this is accredited by actual experience. Such incredibly persuasive language. So what he's basically saying is, so why are so many witches women and not men? Well, it's almost pointless to even think about that argument, isn't it? Because our experience just shows us that so many women are witches, so many witches are women. This is just, it's beautiful, and it happens all the time now with people who want to persuade you of things. You say a statement which might not be true, and then you just kind of like back up. You use lots of evidence for why it's true, but without actually saying anything. I mean, it's incredibly clever. I said that I wouldn't read the whole thing. I do find this really interesting. Without in any way detracting from a sex in which God has taken great glory. So, like, you know, I'm not saying anything about God. God made women, and God is brilliant, and I don't want to take away from women. It's very clever. Oh, I'm not being mean about women, but you know, there are three things in nature that don't know any moderation in goodness or vice. Basically, it's saying women are brilliant, aren't they? They're so great, but they're so great because they don't know any moderation. So they go really off the charts in both directions. Like, women are just the best of the best, which also means that they can be the most evil of the most evil. Like, just not true, totally made up stuff. But he writes this book and saying witches and heretics, sort of the same. In those days, it was okay to burn heretics. That was how you killed a heretic. You didn't do that to witches. And this guy is the sort of person who says, I think we need to be treating witches in the same way that we are treating heretics. Most Christians, and even the people in the Dominican order and the people in the Inquisition, are like, I feel like, nah, we don't, nah, you've gone a bit far. But it really takes off. It's a very, very popular idea. It's a very, very persuasive book. Let's do an activity. I was trying to find an activity for this lesson which was sort of as close as you could get to magic. Now, first of all, guys, if you're going to light candles, don't have any like little dangly bits of Puritan lace on your hat. Keep your hair out of the way. Don't do this activity when you're sitting down. You learn this at school. When I taught school science, I was always having to tell the children not to do experiments sitting down, because if your candle knocks over or you spill some boiling water or something, you need to be able to jump out of the way. What this activity is, we've never done this on Theatre of Science. You have to get a balloon. Can you, if you're doing this with me, and if you don't like peril, my child would really, really not like this activity, because the balloon isn't supposed to burst, but it might burst. Yesterday it did burst, and I threw water all over my house. So if you're not prepared for any of that, just don't do it. Just watch me. You'll have a great time watching me. If you are doing it with me, what you need to do is put some water into a balloon. God, I'm freaking out again. When I did this on Facebook yesterday, it works beautifully. And then I did it again, and the balloon exploded. You put water in a balloon, and then you blow the balloon up. I'm not enjoying myself, guys. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to tie off the balloon. I'm very, very proud of the fact we've done a lot of balloon activities on Theatre of Science, and never, ever, ever, until yesterday, never have we made it that a balloon is not reusable, right? Balloons, plastic, not very good for the environment. This one is made of recycled plastics, and I think it's recyclable because some amazing people, and I can't remember who was it. I'm so sorry because my messages have disappeared. One of you posted it to me, and I'm so pleased. So don't tie off the balloon. If I was like a proper science demonstrator and I was doing this for like a show or something, what I'd have to do is blow a balloon up with air, put it over a candle. Children, don't pick up candles, I'm just showing you. I'd fill up a balloon with air, I'd hold it over this candle, and I would show you that the balloon bursts. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste another balloon, okay? So just imagine I've done it. Balloon full of air, put it over a candle, it bursts. Obviously it bursts. The elastic latex stuff gets really, really hot, expands, hole in the balloon, bursts everywhere. Now, according to Steve Spangler on the internet, and many other people, if you get a balloon and you put some water in it, I don't want to, and you hold it over a candle, It doesn't burst. And I did it yesterday and it did work. But I still, what you have to do is you have to get the bit of the balloon that has water in it over the candle. I did that the first time yesterday and it didn't burst and I couldn't believe it. And then I did it again, but if you imagine this is the candle, I moved the balloon into the candle like that and it touched the bit that didn't have water in it and the whole thing exploded. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. I said to wear eye protection because that's what Steve Spangler said to do. So I've got these cool sunnies. You might have some swimming goggles or something, that's fine. All right, come on, let's do it. Oh, I don't want to. If you don't like peril, like my child really doesn't like peril, then you can just turn away and I'll start talking about witches again in a sec. I'll tell you the hero of our story as far as I'm concerned. Okay, have I mentioned how much I do not want to do this? You get the balloon, I'll put it over here, and then if it bursts, it's just funny, and it won't go all over my laptop like it did yesterday. I'll put it not near the toilet roll from this morning's lesson. Okay, so there's water in the balloon. I'm going to hold it right above the balloon, and I'm going to touch the balloon with the candle. Here we go. Here we go. I'm so freaking out. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Actual G. It worked. Oh, can you see? There's a big black bit on the balloon. The balloon's gorgeous multicolored, so maybe you can't tell. Look, black bit on the balloon. That's what happened yesterday. And this is the point where I did it again and it didn't work. But I am going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Right above, going down, going down, going down, going down, going down. Oh! Why did it do that? Well, it's only fair that it happened with you, because it happened on Facebook yesterday. So it's not fair if only they get to see. Oh my God, they get to see this about 10 years of my life. Why does it work one way and not the other way? I don't know. Wow. Do you know what? It really went downhill fast, didn't it? I've always been able to say that I've never broken a balloon on Theatre Science, and that's 2 in 2 days. Hey, the candle looks cool though. The wax got cold really fast. Anyway, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? Well, if you don't want to do that, you could also do something like you could get a balloon, if you've still got one, or a plastic bag, and you could rub it on your hair, and then you could get an empty aluminium drinks can on a table. Okay, if you brought that stuff instead, put an empty drinks can on a table, rub a balloon or a plastic bag on your hair, and then hold the bag near the can. And if the can is not being crushed or anything, you will find that the can rolls around. These days we call these things science activities, but back in the olden times, it would have been magic. Because basically, what is magic? Magic is very much just stuff that you can't explain, isn't it? Magic is just science that hasn't yet been explained. I love science because I really do feel like science is magic. It's just finding out all the intricacies of the magic. So one of my points was that you now know that there are certain ways you can hold a balloon over a candle and it doesn't burst. You don't actually need to know why. Like what it is apparently the water absorbs the heat from the candle. So it takes the heat away from the balloon. So the balloon doesn't get as hot because it's the water that's getting hot. But you don't need to know that it works. You could show your friends that activity if you wanted to, if you ever wanted to do that again. And it would be cool, and you wouldn't need to understand how it works in order to do it. So in ye oldeny times, in Henry VIII's time, for example, there are people who understand that maybe certain plants and herbs can have healing properties, can make people feel better. Humans have evolved to be on planet Earth around loads of beautiful plants and nature. So obviously information has been passed down from person to person to person. And some people, just like these days, some people study how to be a doctor or how to be a lawyer. Some people have a lot of knowledge of the natural world and are able to make people feel better in a way that other people can't. And these people are called cunning folk. Now, I had a look at all the different witchcraft laws, and it is quite interesting how you see people's opinions changing over time. So Henry VIII is the first person to bring out a law about witches, and he doesn't say witches are evil and they should all be killed. He talks about like sort of bad magic. So basically Henry VIII's law is don't use magic for evil, guys. Like good magic, that's okay. Cunning folk who maybe they don't understand how it works, but they know how to use certain herbs to heal people or whatever. They're living in a society where there aren't necessarily like doctors or policemen in the same way that we have now. So cunning folk are really useful. They're fine. Henry VIII is like, just don't use magic to do stuff like killing all your neighbour's sheep, okay? If you've had an argument, don't do that. But cunning folk, carry on. You're doing a great job. And then as we've seen, sort of, as you get further and further along, we get this idea of witches being heretics. I know some Christians that struggle with this today. Like, they're living in a society where everybody believes in God. So if you believe in God, if you believe that God is sort of in control and guiding you through life, if suddenly all your crops fail and your family start to go hungry, it's really difficult to match up. I mean, you know, Christians do it, but it's a difficult thing to think, well, if God's in charge, like, why has he just made all my crops fail and my family are dying? So people started to think, well, this must not be the work of God. This must be the work of the devil. Or maybe it's a person who is working through the devil, and witches become people who are sort of in league with the devil, which is why torture becomes kind of okay, because the devil isn't going to confess, right? So if you want a witch to confess, you need to stop being really mean to them. Anyway, let's skip forward a little bit. We've talked about this Inquisition, and they were poking people, being horrible to people, trying to find like witches' marks on them. I mean, we're humans. We've got all kinds of different marks on us. But if you wanted someone to be a witch, it was quite easy to find some sort of like birthmark or mole on them and be like, oh, that's a witch's mark, that's a sign. We've had Heinrich Kramer joining the Inquisition and writing this awful book that is really popular among common people. Finally, along comes Reginald Scott. He is the hero of our tale. He writes another book in 1584, which basically says, guys, this is total nonsense. It's called The Discovery of Witchcraft. It's got these beautiful kind of diagrams in it, where he shows how people who say that they're doing magic are actually just doing tricks. And a lot of these tricks are still done by magicians today. Here's a picture from his book showing how you can make it look like someone's had their head chopped off, but they actually haven't. So yeah, The Discovery of Witchcraft is also a really popular book. And it says, look, I don't think any of this witches stuff is real. I think this is just a good way. Let's put his face up again. Lovely, lovely. Reginald Scott says, I think that all this talk of witches is just a way for people to bully and kill vulnerable people in society, like poor people, women, maybe people with certain disabilities, people who can't sort of stick up for themselves. Then he says, it's got to stop, it's all nonsense, look at this book. Unfortunately, for Reginald Scott, quite soon after he writes that book, a guy called James becomes king of Scotland and England, and James is really into witches. He's the king! He's the king of England and Scotland, and he thoroughly believes in witches and magic. He's had a bit of a troubled time. His mum got executed. He was in a storm, and he thinks that this is because of witches. He writes this book, Demonology, and where he criticises Scott's work and says Scott doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a bad guy. Witches are real, and they need to be hunted down. After this, someone who uses James's book a lot is this guy called Matthew Hopkins. If you've heard of the Witchfinder General, Matthew Hopkins is a man who lives down in East Anglia in the south of England, who starts calling himself the Witchfinder General. I didn't know that this was a made-up name, and this is from his book. Matthew Hopkins seems to be, like a lot of people are these days, really good at self-publicity. I feel like he'd be massive on YouTube if he lived these days. Witchfinder General, completely made up name, just something he gave himself. And I found this, he wrote a book, and I found this picture from his book. So this is Matthew Hopkins, just a bloke calling himself the Witchfinder General. He hunts down witches. And this is a picture of witches with their familiars. You know, a lot of witches have these kind of animal assistants that help them do these horrendous things. So it's a picture of witches and they're calling their animal assistants. Now, you might look at that picture and think, wow, that's really interesting. Oh, like olden days picture, that's really cool. The more I thought about it in this context, I've been doing all this research, the more I got really angry. Like, this is just fake news, isn't it? It's a picture, it's like an AI reel on Instagram these days, just designed to make people feel really angry and scared. But it's not true. Matthew Hopkins has never been in a room with two witches who were calling their familiars, because that sort of thing doesn't happen, doesn't exist, it's not real. But he writes it in his book. And again, it just feeds into this fear. And yeah, so the witch trials in medieval Europe become a big thing. There's a lot of misinformation. They were different in England and Scotland. We will go to the Lego story in just a sec, because I feel like I'm kind of ranting now. But yeah, Scotland sort of picks up the witch thing a little bit more than England does. So in England, actually, of all the people accused of being witches in England, 25% of them are found guilty and killed, and 75% of them aren't. And in England, they were hung. Whereas in Scotland, of the 4,000 people who got accused of being witches, 2/3 of them were killed, and 84% of them were women. A lot of the men killed in the witch trials were men who were thought to be helping the women. In Scotland, it's a bit of a myth if you've heard of witches being burned at the stake. That is not really a thing. But the bodies were burned afterwards in Scotland, just for like good measure. I don't know. Heretics were burned. So, right, should we do the Lego story? Let's do the Lego story. You wanted to learn about witches, not me. If you know anything about witches, you will know that there is one big witch event that I haven't mentioned. So the Lego story today is about that. I'm just going to move my computer over here and pull the blinds down a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, so those of you who have researched witches, who find it interesting, you might be thinking, oh, she didn't mention... So we're going to mention it now. Excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. Well, that's a bit too zoomed in, isn't it? Come on. I think that needs to zoom out a little bit more. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's it. Okay. England, the 1620s. To say that Protestants and Catholics are all Christians and believe in the same God, they've been arguing a lot. Catholics think that the Pope should be in charge. Protestants disagree. Catholics have rituals and symbols. Protestants think that's too fancy. Eventually, Queen Elizabeth I, here she is, makes England Protestant, but says Catholics, they can do their thing a little bit as well. Cool. Everybody happy, except some people, there's always one, isn't there? Some people think that Protestant England isn't Protestant-y enough. We don't need any fancy church people, they say. We don't need any fancy clothes. We should just wear simple things and work really hard. We should punish swearing and drinking. We're not sure about theatres either. In fact, we're not sure about England. In fact, we are going to get in a ship and sail over 3,000 miles across the ocean to America and live better, purer lives. It'll be wonderful. What could possibly go wrong? And so they do. These people are called Puritans, and they swim, they get in the ship and they go across the ocean from England to this place here in America. They go to Massachusetts. There it is. Look where Boston is. So they end up in Massachusetts and they form a sort of new society. They actually land somewhere where Native Americans have used as a fishing place for thousands and thousands of years. They call it Salem, after Jerusalem, the famous holy city where Jesus died. And that was their home. They didn't know anything about the plants or the animals there. They didn't know anything about like the germs there or the weather. I mean, if you think camping is slightly uncomfortable and you like that getting home and sticking all your clothes in the washing machine feeling, these guys, let's just say they did not have that feeling, okay? Houses were built though. Children were born. Here's two people who were born in this new community. They are called Ben and Rebecca. It was quite a difficult time because everyone had to decide who owned what and who was in charge, and new people kept arriving, and that made things all very complicated. And it was emotionally, it was just a little bit difficult. By the 1670s, there is a Salem village. Here's a big map of Salem village. And there's a Salem town. You see here, Salem town, right in the corner there. Salem village and Salem town. The people of Salem town think that Salem village is a bit weird. They're always arguing over there in Salem village. They decided, for example, that they didn't want to use Salem town's minister, so they hired in a new minister of their own, somebody called Samuel Parris. And Samuel Parris, he's not really helping the village arguments. He signed a contract to say that he could live in the sort of Salem church house for as long as he was a minister. But then some other villagers say like, it's all right, mate, you can just keep that house, just keep it forever, that's fine. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's just another way that the villagers have found to argue. And also, Mr. Parris, Samuel Parris, is being incredibly strict. Over in Salem town, it's actually quite easy to be a member of the church. They're quite welcoming. But in Salem village, Samuel is making it difficult. Villagers are under a lot of pressure to follow the rules. So Samuel Parris has a daughter called Betty, who is 9, and a niece called Abigail, who is 12. And you won't believe this, guys, right? You won't believe this, but suddenly, after moving in with a really strict man in a really new, weird, angry village, Betty and Abigail, they start acting strangely. They throw things, they scream, they say they feel like they're being pricked with pins. A doctor comes to investigate, but I can't find anything wrong. Prayers don't help. Well, Rebecca and Ben, you remember them? They've had a daughter called Mary, and she's 32, and she's now living next door to the Parrises. So one day, Samuel Parris is away. He's visiting another nearby village with his wife, and Mary is chatting to some of the enslaved people who work at the Parrises. Here she is. So she's like, they're chatting about the girls, like, the girls, yeah, with all the screaming and the pin pricking, it's awful, isn't it? And she says, have you thought about making a witch's cake to see if that helps? Yeah? What is a witch's cake? Okay, so if you think that somebody might have been cursed by a witch, then a little bit of that witch is in the cursed person's wee, okay? That's just like basic science. So what you do is, you get some flour, right, and you mix it with the wee of the cursed person, because there's a little bit of the witch in the wee, and then you give it a good stir, and then what you do is, right, you give that witch's cake to a dog to eat. Wow, thanks very much, says the dog. And then that dog has eaten like a little bit of the witch. So then if anyone nearby, when the dog eats the witch's cake, goes like, ouch, oh no, ow, then you know the witch is involved. It's not that much weirder than blowing on a dandelion clock to know what time it is, or holding a buttercup under your chin to see if you like butter, okay? It's just an old superstitious thing from England at the time. I've got quite a lot of sympathy for Mary. She doesn't crop up in the story of the Salem witch trials very much, and it's not like it was her fault, you know? You can tell that trouble was already brewing, but she was trying to help, and it didn't help. She was trying to help her, okay? She didn't mean for any of this to happen, guys. She was probably just thinking out loud, like, just why don't you make a witch's cake? It's just like something that I learned from my grandma. I didn't. Anyway, the enslaved person working for Samuel Parris, who was called Tituba, did make a witch's cake, and Samuel found out and was really angry. He had like a really big angry rant about it in church. It doesn't matter that you were trying to help, he says. It was like, well, he said, this is his words, it was going to the devil for help against the devil. So Mary got banned from the church for a while until she did a really big apology, and Tituba got into a lot of trouble for making the cake. Now, after this, the children, joined by some other girls, end up accusing Tituba of being a witch, right? And they also accuse some other women of being a witch. They accuse somebody called Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. All of these are basically just women who, for various reasons, are not respected or are not liked in the village. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, they didn't go to church very much, they didn't have very much power in their community, so they were interviewed and the women were sent to jail. But then someone called Martha Corey, who was very well respected in Salem and a member of the church, said, do we think, is it possible that these children aren't telling the truth though? Do you think maybe we should be sending loads of grown women off to jail because of what some kid said? And surprisingly, the children then accuse her of being a witch. And then everyone in the village is like, oh no, if Martha's a witch and she's really well respected, then it could be anyone. So soon lots of women are getting accused, including a 4-year-old girl. One woman's husband complains and he is quickly arrested as well. And suspected witches are not treated well, right? They are prodded, they are not allowed to sleep, and soon they start confessing and naming other people who are witches as well. So eventually all these witches go before a grand jury. And that's basically, the jury just hears lots of stories against them. This is all it is. Some of the stories that are told, there's been a mix-up, and the stories that are getting told aren't even about the women who are on trial, but they really are just stories. But anyway, the jury finds them guilty, and at least 25 people die, including the husband who had complained that it wasn't fair. Some people are hung, some people die in the terrible prison conditions, and I think five men are killed, whereas most of them are women. Salem Village was renamed Danvers and is now popular with tourists who want to come and marvel at the idea of a community ganging up on people who can't defend themselves and spreading hurtful lies. Let's keep the truth of Salem alive and make sure that the today's witches stay safe. The end. Phew. So yeah, I did, obviously there's a lot we could talk about that I haven't talked about when it comes to witches. I haven't really gone into any of the horrendous punishments, but I really liked researching that story because I like to go back to the beginning, and I didn't know anything about really why the Salem witch trials happened. I'm just going to go and grab my computer so that I can say hello to some of you. And now I do. So that's why I'm dressed as a Puritan. The Salem witch trials, they weren't very cool. They were a little bit behind the trend. In England, people had started to cotton on to the fact that none of the evidence against witches was actual evidence, and they started stopping, and they stopped. But the Salem witch trials came a little bit afterwards. I guess it's quite difficult to keep up with the programme when you're living in Massachusetts, far away from all the other English people. Right, you lot, I'm going to go to my Facebook page and see if anyone has written me any comments, because whenever I'm live on YouTube, you'll have noticed there aren't any comments. So if you've got a Facebook account, you can go to my Facebook page and there will be a post there saying, I'm going live with the witches, so you can comment here. Hey, you've commented. Hello, is that Mark? Is that Talitha? Hello. Right, let's have a look at this. It is Mark and Simon and Talitha. Hello. The word Maleficarum. Yes, it does look like the name Maleficent, doesn't it? Yeah, I was thinking that must be where they got it from. Okay, I should say very quickly, if you have enjoyed this, if you are enjoying the amount of work that I put into these shows and lessons, you can support me on this website called Support Me in Buying New Pens. That's a reusable pen. I just haven't bothered to refill it. There's this website called Coffee. The idea is you send me some money and then I can keep doing these lessons. My only job is teaching home educators into the internet like this. This is literally my only job. I mean, maybe I should have a second income stream, but I don't need one because you guys are paying me. So I don't do any private tuition. I don't do any Zoom classes at all. This takes up all of my time and a little bit more as well, but I really love it. So the idea is you go to my Coffee page. It's on the top of it's in my About section on YouTube. It's at the top of my Facebook page. It's all over my website. You sign up to send me £5 a month, and I can plan and teach these lessons for free. And I can even write a theatre science magazine. So this is the only thing that people who support me get that other people don't get, because obviously it costs me to print it and post it to you. So Theatre Science magazine, if you sign up with £5 a month now, you will get this issue, which is about mould. It comes with a home compostable plastic bag. It took me ages to find one of those. So you build a little tray, you put food in it, you grow different kinds of mould in the within the bag, and then you compost the whole thing. It's got a Choose Your Own Adventure. It's got a comic about how penicillin was discovered. If you support me with £6 a month, I will also send you the Time issue of Theatre of Science magazine. It comes with a sundial and another comic, lots of information about time zones and activities you can do, and a quiz about clocks. Yes, and some rainbow glasses as well. So if you would like to click the link that says coffee and sign up with £5 a month, then I will send you all those nice things. And the main thing you will get is huge amounts of gratitude, because clearly this is the best job ever. If you ever want to cancel, just cancel whenever you like. Or you can message me if you don't know how to do it, and I will cancel for you. I'm just going to put my Puritan hat back on, because I've had this for many years, and funnily enough, never had an opportunity to wear it, so I need to make the most of it. Right, let's see who's here. Oh, most important thing to say, I am now on half term. I don't really want to call it a break, because there's a lot of getting up very early and writing Support magazine and planning for next term, but it's a break from talking, which I definitely need every now and again. So yes, next term there's no lives, and then after that, next week, there's no lives. The week after that, in all ages lessons, we're starting mythical creatures. We're going to do a whole 7 lessons on mermaids and unicorns and dragons, will-o'-the-wisps, and a whole new load of Lego story shows. Who knows what that will be about? Right, Finley! Finley was chanting Pop the Balloon. Good. Okay, good. So you're the opposite of my child. You are the child that I was supposed to have, because, yeah, that's kind of secretly what I wanted to happen as well. Cool. We popped the balloon. That's good to know. Hello, Hannah and Katie and Emily and Sophie. They want to tell you that they are Scottish. Oh, yes. Sophie and Emily and Katie and Hannah, they talk like that all the time. And hiya. Oh, I'm so excited. I didn't know that you were Scot. I can hear my husband dying inside, even though he's in the other room. They loved that experiment and it worked great. We turned the balloon on its side with airing to get it to pop for funsies. Oh, that's nice. You're all big into popping balloons. We've been making witches' cauldrons. Oh, what is this? And pumpkins. Is that a felt pumpkin? I want a felt pumpkin. Let me get rid of some of these tabs so that I can see it. Oh, felt pumpkins. Oh, that is cute. Oh, do you know, I really like Halloween. This is the year that I decided that I was a grown-up and I can do what I want, and I'm going to have like Halloween tablecloths and things like this. Maybe it's just because I'm on Instagram now. Maybe that was a bad idea. They are gorgeous. I want to make like 30 of those and then string them up and have Halloween bunting. I might do that. I am on half term now. That's really beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that craft idea. Right, who else we got? Isabel and Thomas. Whoa, look what we just spotted in the garden. It's a death's head hog moth. Oh, is this one of the ones with the cool, like, creepy face on the back? It's about 8 centimetres long. Apparently, if disturbed, it makes a high-pitched squeak. We won't be disturbing it to find out. Quite right. Good for you. They also raid beehives. Oh, do they? Death's head hog moth. Whoa! That's the most Halloween-y creature that I've ever seen in my life. Do you want to see? You might be a bit scared. If anyone... He-Man's not still a thing, is it? It looks like the baddie from He-Man. Looks like Skeletor. Wait, was He-Man Mumra the Ever Living? Was that Thundercat? Anyway, here's a death's head hog moth. Look at that! That is incredible. 8 centimetres. That's a lot of moth centimetres. That is... It really does look like it's got a really creepy... Or does it look like the meerkat from those adverts? Comparesimoths.com. Anyway, that is beautiful. Thank you for that. Cool. I love the way I really have no idea where these comments are going to go. Imogen and Ophelia, Science Day. Hello, you lot. Oh, Ophelia, you've just reminded me that I didn't mention that the demonology book that King James wrote was an inspiration for the witches in Macbeth, Shakespeare's Macbeth witches, even though he never actually calls them witches. So maybe there was no point in me mentioning that. In 2021, there was a beautiful project to remember the witches in Scotland. Who wanted to participate received a name with some information about the person. Oh, how lovely. Oh my goodness, and you embroidered a spoon. Yes, it's amazing actually how late in the day people have been kind of apologising. It made me feel really sad reading about how. And then, 200 years after they were murdered, everyone said, oh, sorry, you weren't a witch. Isn't that gorgeous? Medicine Spoon Memorial. Wow, and you embroidered that. Look at those flowers. That's really lovely. Do you think it helps? I don't know if it helps. Like, so much of the stuff that I was reading about witch trials, I was thinking, well, it's just exactly the same now. You would think that now we've got the internet and that communication would be much better, but I'm just constantly seeing stuff on Instagram and Facebook and thinking, that's just not true. That's just someone saying things to try and make people feel scared and angry. But all the comments are full of people actually feeling scared and angry, just like people were against witches in those days. So, I don't know what you do. Hello, Maya. I wanted to say I practice witchcraft. Oh, yeah. See, we didn't get to talk about that at all, did we? There's so much that we didn't get to talk about. Didn't talk about modern witches. I was sort of thinking about maybe getting you to get like stuff in from your garden, but a lot of the stuff that I could find that sort of the ancient potions was actually quite poisonous. I am trying to collect uncommon herbs and some more common ones. I am also in a coven with some of my friends. Maya, age 10, I haven't, it's not for sale at the moment because I haven't got many of them, but I did a magazine about weeds, and it is probably my favourite magazine that I've ever researched, because I found out about, if you just look at grass, it's not grass, is it? It's not grass. It's just absolutely full of like plantain and yarrow and all these beautiful plants that people would have used thousands of years ago for all kinds of different things, like for dreaming about the person who you were going to love, or for clearing up an eye infection. Yeah, really, I was astounded to find how many herbs there are all around that would have been useful, which now we just ignore or kill. That is exciting. Yeah, see, Casper has posted a meme about the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, it did spread to Spain eventually. It wasn't Spanish originally. The Spanish Inquisition. Hello, Jack. Hello, good to see you. All right. Hello. Ah! Etienne is here. Etienne, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Hello, Etienne. I wasn't expecting to see you. Hello. I don't know why. It's all gone flippy weird. Scrolling back. Ugh. Etienne, it's just really got stuck in your comment. Aurora, loved the Lego show and actually sat glued to it. But, oh, you were upset about the balloon bursting. Yeah, I know. I will recycle it. I mean, actually, I might just do another activity with it. I might turn it into, there's a lot of different things you could do with burst balloons, which I've never been able to do because I've never had a burst balloon. Like, I've never wanted to deliberately pop a balloon. But there's quite a good activity you can do where you can make I'm going to call it a machine to see what the pressure's like, because I can't remember the word for it, I'm blanking. But basically, if you get a stretched balloon over a thing and you get like a little stick and sellotape it to it, then it's a good way of finding out what the weather's like, because if the pressure goes up or down, then the stick moves. So I might do that with this, actually. I learned about it in my weather lesson, but I didn't get to do it. Hello, Heidi and Lennon. Hello. Hello, Alice. All right, you? All right, Tiger and Bird and Banjo. Hello. Hello, Laurie. Good morning, Lara, from Dexter and Daisy. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Good morning. Hello, Dexter and Daisy. Hello. We loved your lesson this morning about oceans, and we are learning about the Pendle Witch Trials. Ah, that is perfect timing. Hello, Charlie. Oh, good. Thank you for that. Your balloon didn't pop. See, if I'd only done it once. It wouldn't have popped. But then also I wouldn't be able to make my cool weather thing. And also you wouldn't have seen it pop, and some of you did want to see it pop, so yeah, I feel like it was the right thing to do. It was fair. Hello, Abba. All right, Lana and Finley. Hello, Willow and Darcy. Oh, hello, Louise and Phoenix. We're new to the channel. Guys, Louise and Phoenix are new. Hello, Louise and Phoenix. Welcome to the Science Lights. Working our way through oceans, and we're big Halloween fans. Brilliant. Well, that worked out well, didn't it? Oh, Iris is here as well. Hello, Iris and Casper. Iris, hello. I keep saying hello to Casper and not you. Oh, hello, Aurelia. Whoa, is that a horse? That is stunning. Oh, thank you, Charlie. Oh, that's nice. Good to see you, Charlie. Hello. All right, Freya and Hannah. So, sad that there's no Theatre of Science next week, but it's Freya's 14th birthday. Oh, okay. Well, that worked out quite well. Theatre of Science is great, but I'm sure you've got stuff to do on your 14th birthday. I'm, ever so slightly intimidated that Freya is 14. Gonna be can I still wear daft costumes? There's a 14-year-old watching. I should be trying to be cool. I'm only kidding. I would never try and be cool for you. Oh, that's nice. Sebastian Humphrey saying happy birthday for next week. Whoa. Okay, so I usually say hello to Jancy. Jane, Daisy and Daniel, they are as one. But Daisy has broken away from the pack today to show this picture of a sandcastle. That is incredible. Wow. So we've just done live on YouTube. It's still there, you can watch it. The oceans lesson, the last oceans lesson, and we did a quiz at the end. Oh, I don't know, Daisy, maybe this is a spoiler for people. We did a quiz at the end where it was like, draw different bits of sandcastle to see if you got the right answers. And this is Daisy's sandcastle. That is so good. The shading. I'm the only person in my family now who isn't an artist. Husband is a good artist and has taught the children to be good artists. This for me is still just like dark magic. I can kind of see that you put some pink there and that there's no pink there. And I can see that there's green there that I would not have done because it's a sandcastle. But all I'm really seeing is like, yeah, really awesome sandcastle. Don't know how you did it. Very, very cool. And cute. Super cute. It's nearly time for me to start hiring you lot. Oh, Olivia! Everyone, Olivia P is here. Olivia P, designer of the very first Fimo Wormy. So Wormy is the Theatre of Science mascot, one of the Theatre of Science mascots. And Wormy made me this Olivia P. And this gorgeous glow-in-the-dark worm is from Olivia as well. Lumiere. I mean, Olivia has made me loads of cool stuff over the years, but I feel like you are sort of the founder, really, of the beautiful wormy movement. You are. I think you're the first person that ever posted me anything, Olivia P. I felt like an absolute superstar boss. Half term is actually letting me see science class. Woohoo! I hope you're okay. You all right? I hope you are. You okay? Cool. Just can't talk back. It's one of the limits of this medium. I always struggled with physics, so I might start going to the IGCSE physics lessons for next year when I sit my physics GCSE. You're sitting a physics GCSE, like separately. You're doing biology and chemistry and physics. Oh, exciting. Yeah, do it. Sebastian Humphrey is still here. Wow, it's amazing. It's like my voice knows that this is my last lesson and that it's going to have a week off. It's like just crawling over the finish line. All right, Jacob, hello. You are silent, we can't hear you, says Casper and Iris. 44 minutes ago. Sincerely hope that you can hear me, or this lesson has not gone well. Okay, I'll have a quick refresh, and then I'd better go and rest my vocal cords. I'm kidding. I got 2 children, and this personality. I'm not going to be resting my vocal cords, but I will be, I suppose, being, whoa, Jack, we are about to be tortured as witches, and as our experiment worked. Ah, your experiment worked. I see what you mean. Yeah, you have managed to do some dark magic. Oh, Charlie is German. Oh, Charlie is German, everybody. Put your seatbelts on. Ah, Charlie. I can't do the German accent. I don't know any German people. I've never heard a German person talk. How does the German person talk? It's like this. Nein, it is not like that. I don't even know any German. I know how to say fliegen. My mum used to just weirdly exchange certain English words for German words when we were kids. So if there was a fly in the room, she'd be like, oh, this pesky fliegen. Like, where does that come from? And stuff would always be kaput. It would never be broken. She'd be like, oh, blooming oven's kaput again. Right. So I can actually... So there are some words that I know better than English. Oh, Charlie, I'm so excited about German. Okay, so over the holiday, my homework is I need to learn how to do the Luton accent and the German accent. All right, Kaylee, age 11. Mummy got a wet face popping the balloon. It's just your mummy, so that was fine. That's funny. Oh, a question. Who's got a question? Noah asks, is the reason the balloon bursts on the second heat exposure because the balloon structure is compromised by the first heat exposure? That is an excellent, excellent question. I mean, I don't know is the honest answer. Steve Spangler seemed to do it for ages. And water has got quite a high heat capacity. Water can absorb a lot of energy. So I'm going to say I don't think so. But I guess I would just be speculating because I haven't looked it up. But I don't think so. But that doesn't explain... Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be because the water had got really hot. Maybe the water had got so hot that it couldn't pull any more heat energy away from, and so the heat energy had to stay in the balloon. Maybe. Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you for asking a question about science. Thomas made masks for them both, as we don't have any costumes here. Nice. Let's have a look at this. I'm loving that t-shirt again. Lewis, you made a mess. Come on. Nice. Mission accomplished. Well done. Experiment was amazing. Another great Lego story. Oh, thank you, Lewis. That's very kind. There's image video. Oh, Maya. Oh, yeah, there's Maya. Practicing witchcraft. Excellent. Let's have a look. There's any more comments. There's Jack. There's Etienne again. Heidi and Lennon. All right, you two. Oh, there's Alice. Hello, Alice. Oh, hello, Layla. We have got some new comments. Brilliant. Heidi, Layla, Alice, Lennon. Hello. 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 Dexter and Daisy, Charlie, Abba, Lana and Finley, Willow and Darcy, Louise and Phoenix, new for the channel. Top of the morning to you, yeah? Alice, you love making potions. Yeah. Right, let's have a look at Aurelia's picture of a horse. There's Olivia P. Aurelia's... Oh, wow. I mean, like, what? I don't know how you do it. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. This is dark magic to me. I don't know how you make pen look like a horse. I guess practice is the answer. That is really, really beautiful. Okay. Right, you lot. Well, I'm sorry if I haven't said hello to everyone. Facebook isn't always great. It's never great. I've just found that photo of you guys in your masks. Let's have a look at that before I go. Ha ha! Oh, come on! You made Halloween masks. That is super cool. That is really good. Yes, love it. Do you know what? You've inspired me. I might go... my kids want to go trick-or-treating dressed as sushi this year. So I was going to have to go dressed as a big bottle of soy sauce, you know, just to sort of sell it. But I kind of feel like I might go as a Puritan. It's creepier, isn't it? Yeah. Simple is better. All right, you lot. I am actually going to go. I'm going to go. I'm just going to subtly prop you round to look at the coffee sign so that if you're not supporting me on coffee and you're thinking that you would like a little welcome pack of fun stuff to do during half term and to know that you're supporting me and making this job a reality, then you can support me on coffee. Just go to the coffee link. I'll just have a little look at the newest comment, because I know it's really annoying if you make a comment and then don't see it. Oh, Hannah loves Aurelia's drawing. Hannah, literally just seeing your name has made me... I'm going to go off and make a... I don't know, I'm writing it on the board. I'm going to go and make a cornflake tart. I'm so excited. I'm going to make loads of little ones. And I'm going to make custard. Brilliant. Thank you so much, you lot. What a lovely chat. I love looking at what you're up to. There's Charlie, German Charlie. Go, Lara, for that accent. Actual German. So it's a German person watching, and they are saying, go, Lara. I do not know if go, Lara means a good German accent or just, yes, I appreciate that you are trying to do a German accent. I've kind of gone a bit French. My best friend lives in France. I don't know. There's Kaylee. Wet face mum. Brilliant. All right, I'm going to go. Thank you so much. Shall we just have a lovely time? I just have so much fun. I feel like you can probably tell that I am massively enjoying myself. So the fact that I can enjoy myself this much and also this be my job is totally awesome, innit? We've got a good thing going on here. All right, you lot, I'm going to go rest my voice, make a cornflake tart, finish writing my current supporter magazine. So I'm going to do, just finish it during the holidays, just like that. And plan next term's lessons. Have a lovely week off from Theatre of Science. Enjoy doing whatever you're doing. And I'll see you in a fortnight.